They just occasionally go on strike and they decide they don't want to work. He's physically far away from his actual parking spot as he could be. As moody as a Starbucks barista. Good afternoon, people of internet land. Welcome back to another bus vlog. Today it is the afternoon of Wednesday the 6th, and I just finished my afternoon route. So I am on the way back to the yard. It's noticeably sunnier than it was yesterday at this time. Yesterday about this time it was flooding. It was flooding. So yesterday was very strange. And it started normal. I went to the yard, did my pre-trip, and I figured out during the pre-trip that you know the marker lights that I mentioned, the marker light up there and the marker light that's on the right rear. Apparently those marker lights are just as moody as a Starbucks barista. They're not broken. They just occasionally go on strike and they decide they don't want to work. And then like today they came back and I was immensely confused, but I just kind of went with it. So that's good news. The other bit of good news is when it flooded yesterday, I was able to kind of test for myself how bad the water leak is back there. Turns out, I think they exaggerated it because it was like 3 drops. And I quite literally drove through what felt like Hurricane Katrina. So I'm just gonna chalk that up to, it does leak a little bit of water. I mean, I could see there was a few drops on the seat, a few drops on the floor, but I was like, you know what? It's not near as intense as they were making it sound like. So that's the other bit of good news. Now, what happened yesterday, I really wish I'd have been recording, because I drove to the high school yesterday afternoon to get my high schoolers, and so I need to explain how the high school is set up. So you've seen in my old videos, when I come in the back of the high school, there's like one parking area for buses. They go to middle school number 1, and then you go past it around the end of the building, and then there's a second parking area for buses. And that parking area is the buses for middle schools 2 and 3. So we hired a bunch of new drivers, and I guess the one driving a particular bus yesterday, I won't say which one, he didn't, I guess, know where to park. He was going to middle school 1, so he should have parked in that first parking area. What he actually ended up doing was going around to the parking area where I go, to an empty lane, and going on the left side and going all the way to the front and stopping. Well, at the very front, the buses sit too far forward for you to be able to get out, and they were already there. So then the buses in his lane piled in behind him before anybody realized he was in the wrong place. So then he just got himself boxed in as physically far away from his actual parking spot as he could be. So naturally the kids were massively confused. And you know, we couldn't really back up. He couldn't go forward because it was blocked up by buses who can't move because of the curb and the tree line right there. And then he couldn't back up because he would have had to move heaven and earth worth of buses. We would have all had to do the cha-cha slide backwards, and Yeah, that was just a nightmare. So I think what happened was, they put his kids on other buses and he just drove to his middle school empty and then sorted out his route kids, I think. But so that happened, and then I was like, okay, well, today's weird. This was after the day before, Tuesday, we had a driver going to my middle school that got lost, coming from the high school. I'm not even sure how you do that, because we all drive in a convoy together. So I'm not really sure how he managed to get lost, but he did. And yeah, so then we got delayed a while. And then the other thing that happened was, so the bottom falls out as I'm getting to the end of my route. And there's lightning popping off like right next to me and stuff. So, you know, I'm telling the last few kids, I'm like, run, seriously, sprint, as they're getting off, and they're like ducking and sprinting through the rain. I get to the very last student's house, and she looks up, looks at her house, realizes her parents' cars are not there, and then goes, oh crap, I don't have a house key, in the middle of a monsoon. I was like, okay, well, this is a lovely situation to be in. So what ended up happening was, we called her mother on the phone, and I arranged to meet the mother way the heck over there in town, close to the high school, to drop off the kid, because it's the end of my route. I mean, it's 4:28 now. It was literally 4:20 when this happened yesterday, so everybody had already left the middle school. I couldn't take her back to the school. So we fight our way out of this monsoon. I get to right here on this road right here, and I'm like, and in my head I'm like, okay, this is easy. I go down here, I take this road right here, go this way straight through downtown, and it'll come out like I'm going to the high school in the afternoons that you've seen in countless videos. Turn up, go up, and instead of turning to go to the high school where I normally do, just keep following that road, go across the interstate, go out there. Yeah, so I was like, cool, easy. No, one of our sped drivers was right there. It was actually Mr. Fred. He was right there. And I hear him say, the railway gates right here are stuck down. It was these right here. I'm like, are you flipping serious? These gates were stuck down and causing a traffic jam right here. So the traffic where I'm sitting right here was backed up like halfway down that road. And I couldn't see it because of the rain. And by the time he said that, I was past the turnaround point. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So I got stuck in a traffic jam for 15 minutes and then finally made it out here. That sound is about to drive me insane. I did get the student there though. Railway. I did get her there. And the mom was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, you know, it's fine. It happens. My job is to get them home safely, so that's what we did. I had a kid today that missed his stop, and he's so short that I didn't see him sitting back there. But the good news is, he looked up not long after and was like, oh no. And I just kind of laughed. I was like, I'll take you back, because it was literally a block. I just made the block again and brought him back. It wasn't like it was anything drastic. So there's that. I have not had, speaking of kids missing their stops, do y'all remember the sleepy kid that fell asleep last year? I have not had any encounters with him falling asleep yet, but knowing his track record from last year, I'm sure it's coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I just don't know when. So I thought it was going to be flooding again today, because when I was pre-tripping there was like a storm wall over that way, and by the time I got to the high school it had kind of dissipated into just like hazy clouds, which I was fine with. The problem with that is it was dripping rain, and I have figured out one thing about this bus that's not great. Here's a little engine brake for you. Okay, I didn't want to talk over the engine brake. So I have figured out that the windshield wipers on this bus are not good. Well, they're half good, but the problem is it's the wrong half. They go up.
217 to station 1.
When they go up like this, they clean it fine. When they go back down, they leave like water streaks going all the way down. Like this wiper, it's almost like the blade is not contacting correctly. And you know, the wipers can't go up without going down. So it's like I can't get it clean without getting the streaky thing coming down. And I'm like, well, that's immensely annoying. And the problem is, if it floods rain, it doesn't do that, because there's so much water that the entire blade is wet, and so it does it cleanly. But when you just get those little drops that kind of sprinkles, but it won't actually start raining, the entire blade's not wet. So then I'm rubbing a dry blade across part of it, and a wet blade, and there's only water in certain spots, so then that's when you start getting the lines. So I don't know, that blade I think is the same size, so maybe I don't know if I could swap the blades, because that one seems to do fine. That one seems to be fine, but I don't know. I really need to go figure out which seat that is. I'm also trying to figure out, there's something inside the door that like squeaks. And I mean, obviously the trim and everything squeaks, but it only does it when I have kids on. It's the weirdest thing. It's not a seat. That's why I don't understand it. It's inside the door somewhere up there. And it only does it when I'm loaded down with kids. And there's something down there that squeaks too, but I don't know what it is. I guess the point I'm trying to get at is it's a school bus, so it's gonna squeak and rattle and creak and all this kind of stuff. I have not had a chance to get Dad to do the shut up procedure to it, as he calls it, to make it quiet. Now we've got about 45 gallons worth of fuel left, so I'm not really worried about doing that tonight. I'm just eyeballing around to see if I can spot you know who, and she's still not here. There's 95. I know 99 is on the road because I heard somebody call that number over the radio today, and what they said is, hey 99, your lights aren't on. So I guess whoever was driving 99 didn't turn her lights on. Because usually if you're in a spare bus and somebody's trying to get a hold of you and they can't see the magnet on the side, they might not know who you actually are, so they'll just call you by the whatever spare bus number you're in. All right, I think right about there should be good for today. I know, shut up. That's the other thing that's new, is this bus, like if I touch this gear shift at all without my seatbelt on, it starts beeping at me. Which, I mean, I understand why, I'm not stupid, but 99 never did that. It was kind of weird. 99 was just like, okay, you're not wearing your seatbelt, whatever. Your life. So this clock is about 30 seconds behind. I'm impressed though, because I've seen buses before that this is never, like, it slowly gets out of sync and it's not quite right. So anyway, we will, I don't have to do inspection on that, so I'll just punch out, get my hat out of the way and grab my thingy-ma-bobber. Come down here. I will say one thing that was rather unexpected, now that I've finished my post trip, is I'm pretty sure I just cut an entire neighborhood off of my route. And I didn't even mean to do it. Because I was down to 3 kids there, and none of them ride anymore. Like, it's been 3 days and they have not shown up. Somebody at the high school left a pink thing of AirPods. So following normal procedure, they can sit right there until they are claimed. I don't set them up here because somebody will steal them. So yeah, I cut an entire neighborhood off my route. It was a little strange. I think all 3 of them started driving, because I've been through all 3 mornings so far to see if they're standing out to get picked up. They never are. And Monday and Tuesday I drove through in the afternoon, looped through the neighborhood and kind of hesitated at their stops, and nobody back there moved. And when I get to the end of the route, the bus is totally empty. And today I didn't even go in the neighborhood, I just went straight by it, and they still weren't on. So I'll probably still go through there in the mornings, at least through this week, just to make sure. And then after that, if they haven't ridden the entire first week, I'm just gonna chalk it up to they drive now and be done with it. So that being said, I think it is time to get out of here. Strobe can come off, air conditioner can come off, cruise control can come off. Turn all the lights off, fast idle can come off. Joke's on me, not really. Turn that off. Did I turn my clicky off? Yes, I did. Okay. Go down to low idle. This thing says it's 107 degrees outside. Somehow I doubt that. And time to go deaf. Okay, now that I've stopped giving everybody tinnitus, what do we have here? More AirPods getting left with whatever the heck that is attached to it. What is, oh, that's somebody's passwords. I don't need to show that on camera. Pencil. I did sweep out this morning just because I had sand everywhere and I couldn't figure out where it came from. That's also somebody's address, so I don't need to show that on camera. Why do people leave this random stuff in here? I don't know. Pencil. Alright. I still haven't tightened that thing up. I will say, having this fan right here is actually growing on me, because I pointed it this way, and so I had cold air coming out the vents that would come this way and get circulated in a loop, and then it would come up here and get cooled again and come back up. So I kind of had like a nice cooling loop going on right here without having to blow it straight in my face. Cool. Easy enough. Put that there. I'll take that off. I did bring my raincoat because I thought it was going to be flooding, and naturally it wasn't. So I guess that's what I need to do, because I didn't bring it yesterday and it was pouring. So I guess if I want it to rain, which I actually do, because the rain cools off the earth, and if you live in the southeastern US, you know we live in the 7th layer of hell. The only problem with that is after the rain goes through, it's muggier than my grandfather's coffee. So, you know, you kind of have to take the good with the bad. Let's put my hat in here. Get my keys. I'll throw my ID on there. Put it in there. Alright, that rag can just stay. I'll grab that and throw the door open, or try. It's one thing I appreciate about a C2 with air-powered doors is as long as there's a little bit of air in the tank and the battery's connected, you can flip that switch and the door will open and close. Now, if the battery's disconnected or you've got no air, well, good luck. Oh, speaking of air, I figured out this bus holds air a lot better than 99 did. And you're probably slapping your forehead going, no, duh, because it's not as old as 99. Well, that's true. But I mean, look where the air gauges are now. So I left this morning, came back, and normally 99 would be pretty much empty. I came back and they were right about 100. Like from the morning to the afternoon, they had only dropped down to about 100 psi. It came up briefly and said low air, and about 2 seconds after the engine was running, boom, totally fine. I was like, well, this is interesting to know. So let's get out of here. Oh, you know it's muggy when your glasses try to fog up as soon as you walk outside. Close that. Yeah, so I've come to the conclusion that I do not like the soft close on the hood because it's, my paint's flaking. Oh, oh dear. Yeah, I don't like the soft close because it makes it ridiculously difficult to actually get the thing closed. I'm sitting here like pulling at it, fighting it, trying to get it all the way down. You have a hard time getting the latch to actually reach because you're trying to get it down and the thing's fighting you. So yeah, not a fan of that feature. I'd rather just gently set it down myself. But yeah, like I said, these marker lights, that one and the front left one, they just have a mind of their own, I guess. So 99 is not here, unfortunately, but I'm keeping an eye out so that when she is, I can do a video. Where's that? 175, 115. There's one of the new C's. Oh, okay, so here's some. If I ever get the chance to drive these, which I will do a video if I ever do, apparently these things have lights under the hood so you can see while you're pre-tripping. I didn't know that until he showed it to me this morning, and I was like, that is the coolest thing. Every bus should have that. But yeah, I'm gonna go home and eat some food because I never ate lunch. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next one.